Hey, how you doing? It's me, Froggy, back again. Last video I was kind of amped to talk really fast, so I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. I know most people watch this in times two speed with all the people now that are doing podcasts and videos and analysts and breakdown of JCB. So a true dedicated hunter probably doesn't have enough hours in the day to listen to everybody, at least at normal speed. All right, so. I will talk a little bit slower because one, it's a little bit later in the night, so I'm the coffee and espresso is all worn out, so I'm not as amped up. But I do think this is pretty cool when I'm on. So still on this kind of new methodology of approaching the smaller boxes, right? I think I've had a little bit of a rewiring. Some of my connections as far as looking at the clues have changed since doing all that dive and analysis in part one. And again, I say everything with a grain of salt. I'm no expert. I haven't been proven right or wrong, so I'm both right and wrong at the same time. None of my clues or analysis or methods have yielded any fruit at all whatsoever, other than people saying, "Oh, that seems cool," or "Yeah, that seems logical." All right. So that's all the disclaimer. We're looking into the past and the future box today because it's the one. If I look in my videos, it's the one I haven't done the most recent. That's not the right word to say it. It's been the longest. It's been the longest since I covered it. All right, so the last one was AT box, and then before that it was Pokemon, and then before that it was Fen. So I haven't done past future box in a while. So I sat down to focus on this box, looking just at part two. All right, because I'm still thinking, hey, if he puts out the ebook, you got to be able to find it with the ebook and what's included in it. So while yes, there may be, as much as JCB has said there isn't, I guess there's a possibility that it's all red herring misdirection and something from part one can help you. For me, I think reading his writing has helped me a little bit understand, but who knows? So for this one, anything in this video that I'm going to be saying is strictly part two. Anything I say, you can find in an ebook. All right, so we'll leave it at that. So starting out, I read the introduction to part two. All right, and the first couple times I attempted to do this box, I didn't really put a lot of emphasis or attention in the quotes in the part two introduction, meaning page 200, right? Page 200 looks like this. And at the very top, there's two quotes, one by Leonardo da Vinci, one by Jerome Bruner, which da Vinci, most people have heard of. Bruner, I don't know if he's as popular of a guy, right? Very interesting. His Wikipedia is pretty cool. So because of the choice of him, I go back and forth between two different things, whether JCB, when he was looking for quotes, just like him or his researcher, right? He told them, hey, give me a bunch of quotes about joy from famous people, right? And then this guy just popped up with a joy quote. Or is this guy significant, something about his life, it's something we're supposed to apply? If that's the case, good luck, because here's a little bit of a wild ride. So this guy was born blind at age 2, corrective surgery, goes on to study like psychology, explore experimental psychology, gets picked up by Eisenhower during World War II to lead his like psychological warfare division, goes on to do more experimental and psychology, goes to Harvard, just very, very out there. Very much not really your typical guy you think of joy, all right? And I can see how his quote would apply, right? Being able to, again, this is in quotes, being able, well, the whole thing's a quote, but there's quotes in a quote, right? So if you're looking at it, it makes sense. Being able to go beyond the information given to figure things out is one of the few untarnishable joys of life, all right? So if we're supposed to get something from that, we're supposed to go beyond the information and figure things out. So if you want to use the quote, that's what you're supposed to get from it, I guess, all right? So we go into the introduction, talks about, how we should approach it, his little bit of reasons for why he did 5 instead of 1. For me, some themes I'm picking up, because now I'm in my mindsets of like themes and threads from this part 1. I'm trying to shake out of it, all right? So I might need a week or two before I get out of it. But some of the phrasing in here, wrestling, about seeds, about plants. You know, we get upon his the 5 games that him and Kimberly like to play. That's kind of all in good in the introduction. All right, happy hunting. So let's get into it. I feel myself speaking faster because I know what I want to get to, so I gotta slow down. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. All right, here we go. The word search. So right away, the title's called The Past and Future Box. So I'm looking for what's in the past and what's in the future. And it starts out with the future. You don't have to go very far, like second, third sentence down. During our chat, I mentioned to Seth Gould how cool I thought it would be to have a futuristic style treasure box, right? Nothing about the past so far. It's all about the future. Talks about on the description of the box, this is our Into the Future inspired treasure puzzle box, which is one of the things that people use when they try to bring in the Back to the Future theories and applications. There's other ones too. Going on. Again, moon landing. That picture jumps out right away. And this is nothing that's new. This is stuff that other people have covered, so I'm going to kind of go through there. Again, I'm still looking for the past. Just more stuff in the future. Bitcoin protocol, AI, the future, all that stuff. Here we go. Page 225. We're like 1, 2, 3 pages into this chapter. Now we start talking about the past. We don't get to it until halfway down. If you read the book, you know that Ernest Cline smartly weaves a tapestry of 1980s reference. So that's a indirect description to the past. It'll be more direct when you go down a little bit further. Sentence starts out, it was so entertaining to read a futuristic sci-fi book with clues and plot points shaped from the past memories of a weird and wondrous 1980s youth. So there we go again. It's the past and the future, but it's reversed, which is like a thread for the whole book. But I guess, I don't know how much of a thread, as you can say, a stylistic design or an artistic choice. But it's interesting that in the whole chapter, the future is first. And in this particular sentence, the future is first. Whether in the text, in the title, it's past and the future. And in the ebook blurb, you're looking for the author's past and present. All right, so before we get into the word search, this is where I would stop and say everything I said from the last video, right? Hey, play along as if, this is going to be the state you're in. If you live in Nevada, make it fit Nevada. If you live in, what are some of the states that are popular for this? Ohio, make it fit Ohio. If you live in Kentucky, make it fit Kentucky. Whatever that you want to make it fit, right? I really tried. I cannot shake California. And it's probably just my own bias still. Maybe I need some more time to shake it. I think that's partly why I stepped away from this chapter for so long, and I may need to step away from it longer because I just can't get out of California. Looking into it, let's see, we have, where's that? Its surface would reflect a state of gold from the sunshine through my window. Come on. Gold State, Golden Gate, Sunshine State. It's all right there. Dispatch Quickly where I loved. He loves California. The author is present. The author is currently living in California. There's a lot that's focused on California. The colors, the gold. Yeah, it's a lot of California. But, all right, so moving on, because I figured, you know what, maybe I'll get a state later. Let me just go back to the word search, right? And as I do every time, I start fresh. I start, of course, with the crossword raw. It is hard to shake the bias, though. It's really hard. All the threads and all the information, and I'm not gonna stop absorbing it, right? I always want to know what other people are thinking. I want to watch their videos, so it's I don't know. It's pros and cons. It's give and take. So going through it again, one thing that jumped out at me for this time that I hadn't been focused on before is, let's see, where's the past and where's the future? Okay, so we found past and future in the text, but where is the past and where is the future in the word search itself? Right, because it's the past and future box, right? So we got to look for it. And the only thing it came up with is, a futuristic railroad, pass. The west is the west, the past. I wouldn't really say the north is the past. Around the coin, is that the future? I'm trying to match the words that we found and attribute them to past and the future, which is really hard to, because a lot of them are generic words, I would say. And that in itself led me to start looking at the words in a different way, right? And by generic, I mean numbers. How can numbers be passed in the future, right? Unless they're 19, unless they're a date. So 3, 12, 5, 9. If I were to ask you, is 9 a past or a future letter? I mean, is 9 a past or a future number? Like, how would you answer that? State, square, lemon, north. Is lemon a past or a future? I mean, there's just so many of the words that are found, it's hard to pick a past and future, right? So there must be something deeper. Or maybe past and future has nothing to do with the box, right? This is just one of my more recent attempts, kind of trying to shake the cobwebs to get out of part 1 so I can focus on part 2 now. I think the first video I make, whenever I shift chapters, I think it's a little bit shaky. But sometimes I feel like I stumble across something, all right? Which again, it's not proven because no one's found the box yet. So here's the meat, all right? Here's the main course, what I'm talking about. So we found all the words, right? And I started noticing that some of them, and this is not a new thing, some of them go together, right? Looking for, there are the secret message, right? So you find the words and there's the message hidden. I can't get away from that because once you find the words, what's left over, it's just so intentional. Whether you can argue over line, you can argue over no, you can argue over some of the other ones, but I think it's kind of hard to argue that there's not a anagram message in there. And I think 5 clues are a big one. I think most people would agree with that. So we're looking for 5. Where do we get 5 from the words that we found? All right. So here's one way I went about it. All right. You don't have to love it. Many of the words can be paired with just the letters. Here's what I'm talking about. T's. All right. When I was looking through how to make the words past and future, I put several different categories in Excel again, because we're supposed to use Excel, right? And I started noticing a pattern that some of the words, a lot of the words were starting with the same letter. For example, 3, 12, 3 again, square, sapphire, right? Round, rail, lyre, lemon, lilac, line, 919 north, water, walk, west, estate, 11. So you end up getting only 5 words that do not match. All right, so it's 5, there's only one F. Quarry, there's only one Q. Peaks, there's only one P. 0, there's only one Z. And count, there's only one C. All the other words, at least the ones that I'm using, all right, have matches, right? There's T's, there's S's, there's R's, there's L's, there's N's, there's W's, there's D's, and there's E's, all right, with estate and 11. All the other, but so that you have 5 that don't. I mean, if I'm looking for 5s, right? Hey, there's 5 clues, there's 5, so I'm looking for 5, where can I find 5? And I was like, when I started this, I'm like, well, let me see if there's 5 that are left out. And I happen to find 5. I mean, check my math, let me know what you think, if you can find not. Even some of the words that aren't commonly included, like dose, I mean, that's with dirt and divider, so that's still paired up. Eons, that's what's 11 in a state, so it's still paired up. What's another word that people use? I guess if you use omelet, that would throw off the count of 5, and now you'd have six words that have a unique starting first letter. I'm trying to think with the other ones. Can't think off the top of my head. Rams, I mean, that goes with R, and that goes with round and rail. Tone, that goes with 3, 12, and 3. So again, the only ones, unless you want to include omelet, the only ones that don't have a match are 5, quarry, peaks, 0, count, and those are 5, right? So in my mind, super simplistic. I don't want to, this is going down another rabbit hole, but just very briefly, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, and this is the first video, I'll just cover it in like 1 or 2 sentences. I'm a big fan of keeping it simple. It's how I do this. This puzzle's supposed to be fun for me. I don't enjoy getting deep into the roots of cutting out letters and doing Gruel ciphers of, I'm not a computer programmer. I don't write code to break stuff. I try to think of it as simply as possible. And I think that there's a place for that in this big hunt. And there's people that are like-minded and enjoy it. I know there are people that are good at ciphers and codes and thinking along that style, and I'd let them do their thing, all right? And it's fun for them, right? It's not fun for me, so I'm not gonna spend my free time doing stuff that's not fun, all right? I have to do enough not fun stuff in my work life. One other shout out that I said I would is if you're a big fan of numbers and numerology, just put it in the chat. There's a person who wants to be anonymous, but she's looking for other like-minded people who are big into numbers. And so she reached out to me. I said, I'm not a big numbers guy. Sometimes I'll play around with them, but I'm not like using numbers, a lot of numbers in my solve. But she has some really cool stuff with numbers. So if you're big into numbers, just in the comments for the video say, hey, I'm a numbers guy, or I use numbers in my solve, and she'll reach out to you in the comments. All right, continuing on. Again, 5, quarry, peaks, 0, count. Those are the 5 letters that I have. So where do I go from here, right? Because videos are nice. Yeah, it's nice watching Froggy and his green talk about words and stuff, but what does it get me at the end? We all want the treasure, right? So here's what I would do, is take those in the state, and I'm looking. And of these 5, I think a few of them, 2 or 3, you're going to be able to see from your armchair, from your satellite, right? You're going to be able to look at a map and see. So is it peaks? I'm thinking peaks is probably, because it's hard to see 5. It's hard to see numbers from a map unless you're looking for a geography feature that looks like a 0, like a circle, a ring of peaks or something. Or you're looking at numbers in like grid long lines, which I don't like, or highways, which I've used it before, right? The 5 in California. Spoiler alert, I still haven't got out of California. We're still there. So if you're looking at a map, you're looking for peaks. Northern California's got the Alps, Trinity Alps. I've done a video on that solve. I still can't get away from it. Yeah, there's some peaks in Southern California. Southern California would fit more of its precedent. But going back to the safety and the fires thing, I do think that Northern California is a safer bet. So if you're looking at a map, you're going to use peaks. You're going to use probably Quarry. You could find a Quarry, and there are some quarries in Northern California. And you're going to want to use maybe 0. Once you get down for selecting a boots on the ground spot, I think that's where you're going to use your 5, your 0, your count, maybe even your Quarry once you get on the ground. How that applies, I don't know. I'm still using this method, which is the second method I've used, still leads me to the Trinity Alps Wilderness, which is massive, right? It's but at least we got a state, and at least we got a section. Look, the good thing about Trinity Alps Wilderness, Wilderness Trinity Alps, I forget the order. It's a little bit late, but the good thing about it is there's not a lot of trails that are within 3 miles of a road. It's like, when I say it's massive, it's massive. I still want to get out there. I think it'd be a great trip. I think it'd be a great time to spend a weekend doing some of the longer trails just for personal enjoyment. But that's where, that's where I'm gonna draw this video out. Is try the new method. Maybe you get something out of it. Maybe you're supposed to, because this, there are some anagrams, some basic ciphers in the word search, and I've used them to get to some of this stuff. Maybe it's fair game to apply those to your 5 words. So maybe you take 5 quarry, peaks, 0 count, and you see if you can anagram a sentence out of that. I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it successfully yet. So maybe you want to take that and run with it. I'm speaking a little faster again. Gotta slow down. But yeah, that's the end of this video. So again, it's pretty simple to get to. You can explain it pretty easily, which is one of the I was a big proponent in whatever the solve is. It has to be able to be easily explained on national television, in front of an audience. Be able to tell your friend, your grandma, your high school class that, hey, you do this word search and you match up the words that are repeated. Can't be easier than that. You have 5 words that don't have a partner that starts with the same letter, same first letter. If you want to use join and pairs, you can do all that cipher stuff and still get the same result, right? And then you take those 5 words, those are your 5 clues. And there are other clues. Maybe the other words, the T's, the S's, the R's, 12 states, square, line, whatever, maybe those apply somehow. But these are your 5 main clues, right? The 5 ones that are hidden. That's what I got out of the do not tell anyone, is because you don't tell anyone a secret. And so these are kind of secret and hidden. That's what I got. All right, so there's that video. I don't think I'm mentally ready to go back to the past and future box. I just hadn't touched on it in a while. I just want to keep my thoughts on it fresh. I don't want to let my thoughts go stale on it. So I put this out there. I still have a lot of biases that I'm trying to work through. I mean, I can't get out of California, even though I'm telling you guys, hey, get out of the popular states, and I can't even follow that myself. So I wanted to do something for California or do something for Arizona. I think that'd be fun to try to make this fit Arizona or New Mexico, but I wasn't able to do it. At least when I say I'm not able to do it, I mean I'm not able to do it in that I would feel proud of putting it online, right? I came up with some nonsense, but I'm not gonna have that nonsense attached to my name, and I'm not gonna waste your time with it, all right? So if I get a more logical, coherent solve for Arizona or New Mexico, I'll put that out and share it, because I think that's part of the learning process, right? Even though I'm not saying, hey, you know, blow all your money and head to New Mexico right now, quit your job and go to Arizona. I do think that if you live in Arizona, or if I come up with a place and you live like 30 minutes away, hey, it's not a bad use of a couple hours on your weekend. The weather's good. Get out there and explore the spot. All right. Okay, yeah, so that's enough of that. All right, guys, take care. Thank you all for the subscribers. We're almost at 1,000. We're at like 980 something last count. So really appreciate the love. I know that more people have subscribed than watched, because like the normal view count is like in the 300-400s, all right? So obviously 900 people aren't watching it, but I guess enough people have subscribed over the time, and they haven't unsubscribed, so that's a good thing. Just if you're watching a video and you haven't subscribed, just put a subscribe. It doesn't really hurt you, and you just click a little button, all right? And if you know somebody else who's into treasure hunting, let them know, all right? Send the link, or, you know, whatever. All right, guys, take care, be safe.
Now listen, all you treasure hunters, searching all around for plunder. Do you need some help to be your best? There's something that you're trying to find, but you're about to lose your mind. So come on, listen in to Estes Quest. Estes Quest, the show where he'll be sharing clues. Estes Quest will chase away your searcher's blues. He's solving puzzles with a smile. He'll help your theories pass the trial. He's welcoming you here to be his guest. Now listen close and you'll be told the clues to where he's hiding gold. So come on, listen in to Estes Quest. Come on, listen in.